Layoffs are surging. TikTokers say the Great Depression was better than today, and distress in England. Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video with your friends. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Today, I read an article on foxbusiness.com written by Megan Henney titled "Layoffs Surged 98% in 2023. It could get worse this year." The author of this article referenced a new report published by Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, which found companies planned 721,677 job cuts last year, a substantial increase from the 363,832 layoffs reported in 2022. According to the author, the pace of job cuts by U.S. employers accelerated in 2023, with the number of layoffs surging 98% compared with the previous year. The problem could get worse in 2024 as the labor market continues to soften in the face of high interest rates and stubborn inflation. Well, my friends, I continue to read about layoffs each week. I have talked about many of them here on the channel in the recent past. These layoffs have ranged from pizza delivery positions in California, where a large Pizza Hut franchise announced laying off more than 1,200 delivery drivers, all the way to Citibank, who announced 20,000 layoffs are incoming. My heart goes out to everyone who is getting laid off. I hope they can secure new employment quickly. The author of this article goes on to reference Andy Challenger, the Senior Vice President of Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, as saying employers are still extremely cautious and in cost-cutting mode heading into 2024, so the hiring process will likely slow for many job seekers and cuts will continue in the first quarter. Well, my friends, however bad it is now, I can't imagine how much worse it could potentially get if we enter an ugly recession. I know politicians and the mainstream media keep talking about a soft landing, but I think Americans need to plan for the worst. You never know if and when you may get laid off. In my opinion, everyone should have an emergency fund with enough money in it to pay all bills for 3 to 6 months. Since you can easily earn over 5% on your money with a CD or short duration U.S. Treasuries, why not have more than 3 to 6 months set aside for emergencies? I also believe people should keep their skill set fresh. Continue to stay on the cutting edge in your field and take advantage of continuing education opportunities whenever you can. If you get laid off, you want to be the most qualified candidate that a company is going to interview. I think people need to also take a good hard look at how their field may evolve due to artificial intelligence. I suspect AI will replace a lot of positions in the not too distant future. People should be prepared to pivot if and when this happens. I read an interesting article today relating to what some young people are doing after being laid off. This article was on Yahoo Finance, put out by MoneyWise and written by Sabina Wex, titled "A Huge Slap in the Face. Tech workers are going viral after posting live reactions to their layoffs on TikTok, a trend that's growing amid mass job cuts in the sector. What's behind it?" The author of this article shares a story about Chloe Shi, a former product manager at Discord. She filmed herself while listening to a company-wide call announcing layoffs. She let out some profanities after receiving an email telling her that she was one of the 17% of employees being laid off. She said, "I just bought a house," while looking shocked and screaming and then saying, "This is how I'm going to go?" Well, I'm sorry to hear about this young woman losing her job. I hope she is able to secure new employment quickly so that she can keep her house. It has to be disheartening to receive this news in such an impersonal manner. I really think her company could have done a better job with these layoffs. Keep in mind, businesses need to remain profitable, and cutting human capital is one of the ways that they do so. Another woman named Brittany Peach, a former account executive at cloud connectivity company Cloudflare, recorded her entire 9-minute conversation with HR when she got laid off and then posted it on TikTok. Apparently, people on TikTok were appalled that her HR department didn't provide a specific reason why she was terminated after just 4 months. In her video, she told the HR person, "It must be very easy for you to just have these little 10-minute, 15-minute meetings, tell someone they're fired, completely wreck their whole life, and then that's it, with no explanation. That's extremely traumatizing for people." Well, I feel bad for this woman. I have no doubt this was traumatizing for her. My heart goes out to her. I hope she is able to find a new employer that values her work and provides her with the transparency that she is looking for. If she has skills that are in demand in our labor market, she may be able to find a new company to work for in short order. I really wish her the best. Understand, it's a tough world out there. Some people, not necessarily this woman, grew up shielded from how tough the world really is. It's not all rainbows and sunshine. At the end of the day, we as humans are just animals. Yes, we may be a more refined species than lions in Africa, but always keep in mind that we are mammals. If you are not an animal at the top of the food chain in Africa like a lion, life can be brutal. If you were an animal in Africa, you would have to compete for food and water to stay alive and constantly be on alert for predators who want to have you for dinner. Male lions often want to expand their territory and take it away from other male lions. This is like corporations wanting to continue to assert their dominance in their respective fields and grow their businesses. A zebra on the plains of Africa needs to be on the lookout at all times while grazing. A zebra never knows when a lion may attack. A zebra better have a strategy in place to get away in a split second. There is no time to think. If you are an employee at a large corporation, you better always be prepared for a layoff at any time. You better have a strategy of what you will do next. Be prepared, just like that zebra who might be attacked at any moment by a hungry lion. I'm sure a zebra that wasn't lucky enough to get away and has his throat in the mouth of a big lion probably is feeling the same way as Chloe Shih, a former product manager at Discord, when she said, "This is how I'm going to go." Yes, Mr. Zebra, unfortunately, this is how you are going to go. Your throat is in the mouth of a very hungry lion. It is a very tough world out there. On the topic of TikTokers, I read another interesting article today. This one was on Yahoo Finance, put out by Benzinga, and written by Aditi Ganguly, titled Viral Vibes, TikTok's Take on a Silent Depression, What Experts Say. According to the author, social media platform TikTok invented the term silent depression to describe the current economic scenario in the U.S. as the rising cost of goods and services has triggered an affordability crisis across the country. The viral theory alleges that life was better in the 1930s during the Great Depression compared to today, with nearly 62% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck and racking up debt. Well, my friends, I understand people in America are struggling, and my heart goes out to them. Life is tough for a zebra in Africa, and life is tough for some Americans who are struggling with food insecurity and housing insecurity during a time when inflation is impacting so many. However, I don't think life was better in the 1930s during the Great Depression compared to today. At the height of the Great Depression in 1933, unemployment hit 24.9%. The Congressional Budget Office expects unemployment to hit 4.4% in the fourth quarter of 2024. This is nothing compared to the 24.9% during the height of the Great Depression. We have not experienced a Wall Street crash, we have not experienced another Dust Bowl, and we have not seen food riots. Now, we did see Silicon Valley Bank collapse in 2023, but depositors were made whole through government intervention. This didn't happen to many depositors during the Great Depression when there were bank failures. Life today is nothing like the Great Depression. Some people on TikTok need to close out of that app and spend some time reading about events that actually transpired during the Great Depression. If people on TikTok think today feels worse than the Great Depression, they better buckle up for a bumpy ride that we may experience if and when an ugly recession hits in the future. It's been over 15 years since the Great Financial Crisis in 2008 happened. Many young people never lived through that. Times were a lot tougher back then than they are today. Still, it was nothing compared to the Great Depression. I think some young people need to moderate the intake of whatever it is they are sipping out of their bedazzled Stanley 40-ounce tumblers. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. For those of you who think things are only bad here in America, you are wrong. I read an article today on Yahoo Finance put out by The Telegraph and written by Michael Bowe, titled, "Nearly 50,000 Companies Face Collapse as Debt Storm Hits." This story comes from across the Atlantic in England. I want to share this with all of you because it really paints a picture that shows how higher interest rates are impacting businesses and people around the world. According to the author, Begbie's Trainer's Red Flag Alert warned 47,477 companies were in critical financial distress at the end of 2023, an increase of 10,000 since September. Many companies on the list are expected to go bust, leaving workers unemployed and creditors out of pocket. The Bank of England base rate interest rates of 5.25% have increased the cost of servicing debts taken out when borrowing costs were at historic lows. Well, my friends, I feel bad for people in England who may be losing their jobs in the near future. We may start hearing about them sharing their stories on TikTok at some point. I hope they can find new employment quickly. I also hope they have emergency savings to rely on in the interim. Since the great financial crisis in 2008, many companies and people have been living in a sort of surreal twilight zone due to cheap and easy money. Now that the cheap and easy money is no longer flowing freely, everyone is being forced to come back to reality, and that is not fun. I know I've said this a lot lately, but imagine what we may all see before our very eyes if and when we enter an ugly recession. I just worry that not enough people are prepared. I worry about what is going to happen when more companies announce layoffs, when credit card companies start reducing credit limits and closing credit accounts, and banks start reducing or closing lines of credit. People and businesses aren't going to know what hit them. I'm not saying with certainty that this is going to happen, but I think people should be prepared for the worst in case it does. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.